Before today's video begins, I want to remind all of you that I will be at Gentlemen's Footwear this Saturday, October 12th, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a special trunk show featuring CNES in San Diego. Please stop on in to view some amazing models and to participate in our group Made to Order, featuring some unique hand-welted wonders. To sweeten the deal, I'll be offering complimentary shoe shines for anyone who wants to just come on in to see me as well, so I'd really love to see you there. Also, on Thursday, October 17th, I will be hosting another Elegant Oxford Shoe Shine Masterclass in San Francisco at Edmonds, co-hosted by Levi Elliott, the 2023 United States Shoe Shine Champion. Our class in New York at La Faux sold out very quickly, so please head on over to the description of this video for a link to sign up. It's been an incredibly busy month with the New York Super Trunk Show, and I hope to see you at both events in San Diego and in San Francisco. There was once a time when the United States produced some of the greatest ready-to-wear shoes in the world. Unfortunately, the golden era of high-quality footwear in the United States abruptly ended by the late 90s, when many prolific shoe brands regrettably closed their doors and remaining shoe brands began outsourcing their construction overseas, leading to a stark decrease in quality with only Allen Edmonds and Alden left as the Scion heritage brands to hold the line. Unfortunately, and despite their best efforts, only as mere shadows of what came before them. The financial bottom line won the dreaded shoe war, and the art and craft of heritage handmade shoes at the highest echelons in America disappeared completely, despite the promise of quality and innovation, never to be seen again. Layman shoe historians like myself still sing the lament of what remains of the golden era, of the bygone days, and are always on the hunt for artifacts of what was lost. Every visit to a thrift store and every estate sale holds the promise of an extraordinary find, just waiting to be discovered. After years of searching, I have finally found a relic of a long-forgotten era, an unworn and forgotten piece of history that was left to be discovered, untarnished by entropy and perfectly preserved. These shoes have eluded me for years. Despite desperately searching the internet, I never ever found them for sale on eBay because of how uncommon they are. I was left salivating at pictures and articles of what I thought I'd never find. Now, Johnston & Murphy was famous for their Crown Aristocrat line that you can still find secondhand, but few are aware that there was once an even higher end line called the Handmade 100's. Shockingly, this line retailed for over $1,000 in 1991, making them by far the most expensive ready-to-wear shoes I've ever encountered in the United States, and for good reason. These shoes were not only hand-welted but hand-lasted as well, which is of course a level of shoemaking no longer found in any ready-to-wear line in the USA. If you want to find something at this level or higher that's still made in the United States, you're gonna have to go with a bespoke shoemaker like Francis Waplinger out of New York. At first, the shoes might appear like any regular Oxford to the untrained eye, but for those who know quality shoemaking, this is truly an impressive shoe. The Regency is conservative enough for a boardroom meeting, I suppose, but it quickly betrays its nonchalant humility with small yet ostentatious details that truly hint at its impressive pedigree. First and foremost, we have the spade sole, which is as flamboyant of a detail as you can possibly imagine on a shoe. The edges flare out sharply and meet at a single point at the toe, which gives the shoe a shovel-like forefront that accentuates the proportions of the foot by exaggerating the front and slimming down the waist. Many high-end shoes actually include this detail but round off the spade instead of leaving it as sharp as it is here to tone down the overt nature of its splendor. Much like the upper, the sole appears ordinary and modest at first, but that's only if you glance at it without scrutiny. Closed channel or blind channel stitching is an element of fine shoemaking that I always appreciate, meaning the stitches that hold the lower sole to the welt are carefully hidden behind a flap of leather that has been lifted and then closed back over the channel. Ornate patterns wheeled carefully into the tan sole serve to complement the 26 ornate nails carefully placed into the heel, altogether painting a picture of confident simplicity that does just enough without going too far. The edges are uniquely crafted too. The welt fudging is of course apparent and stark, but it looks like the stitches were hidden in the very same manner the sole is. The edge is cut and lifted, stitched by hand, and then the flaps are closed back down to hide the thread before the wheeling is applied. Moving upwards, the last is simple enough to not attract too much attention, but its subtle nature is actually a masquerade that conceals a slightly flamboyant toe area that curves gently upwards before curving downward toward the forefront. The overall design of the shoe is the best attempt I have ever seen at concealing extravagance behind a wall of veiled simplicity. With every contour and curve, the Regency displays its utter confidence without having to go overboard with fictitious bravado. It seems completely undeniable that the Regency's modesty is its defining feature. The insole features a beautiful logo in gold leaf lettering, a proud coat of arms motif that speaks to the ideals that brought it to life. It's a declaration, a message left behind and inscribed with the purpose of telling a story only a lucky few will ever read. I wish more shoes did it today, if I'm being honest. Upward near the laces is a design element that I loved the second I first saw it all those years ago. This swan neck is an ornate brogued pattern that breaks up the monotony of the often straight lines that separate the leather segments used to design the shoe. It reminds me of the curves of the wingtip, yet they are placed in an area where they won't steal any of the main show's thunder. It's a welcome addition that today is usually replaced by a single row of straight stitches instead. Unlike modern European offerings, the Regency doesn't have a very elongated toe. The last is elegant and contoured, but it doesn't try to do too much with its proportions. It's perfectly content at looking completely normal in that regard, instead letting the spade sole do the talking, especially the front end, like a spear point poised and angled for battle. This shoe is ready for war. Everything about this Oxford speaks to the pride and craftsmanship that went into its construction. Every stitch is perfectly placed. Every angle, every line is expertly contoured. It's not an exaggeration to say that this is truly a work of art, an extravagant piece of history that would be best served by being preserved, since so few of its kind even remain. This shoe is paradoxical to me. It brings me great satisfaction, and at the same time, bitter regret. I rejoice in its existence and marvel at every piece of it, until I'm reminded bitterly that this shoe is simply a relic of an age that will never return. The artisans that crafted it are gone. The minds that dreamt it and designed it no longer exist. It hails from a calendar year that seems so close in chronological time, yet virtually nothing remains of what made this shoe, all except a hollow shell of a company that only bears the same name, but has long since abandoned the principles it once stood for. I started off writing a review like I normally do with so many shoes that I've featured on this channel, but as I truly pondered what I felt and honestly wrote my thoughts, I realized that this video is actually a eulogy. Maybe one day this shoe will be completely forgotten, but not by me. May this video stand in remembrance of the golden era of American shoemaking.